Hey, you guys. Happy Sunday evening. I'm Meredith Hawley. I'm a lawyer and life coach. And tonight what I do is I help women shift power dynamics at work to stop and prevent toxic work environments. And tonight I want to talk to you about Sunday night dread. I must have gone through like a year of Sunday night dread when I was working in a job that had a pretty toxic environment. And every Monday morning, we would get together and have a meeting that was just one of the most stressful experiences I've ever had. And so I probably spent from at least like noon on Sunday until I went to bed just dreading Monday morning. And I would have people call me early Monday morning saying, I think I'm not going to go into work today. Like, I think I'm going to call in sick because we all just had so much dread around what was going to happen on Monday. And I just sort of noticed that, like, it would basically take, an entire day of my weekend away just feeling this dread of going back to work, which is an awful feeling to feel, but I know that I'm not alone, and I've worked with enough employees to know that this is actually a pretty common experience. I just didn't know at the time that it was optional. I thought that it was happening to me, not that I could avoid or make a different choice when it came to the Sunday night dread. And so I just want to give people a few tips because I think Sunday night can be a great night. You should have your weekends. You shouldn't have to, avoid Monday morning. You shouldn't have to use your weekend night to stress out about your weekday. So the first tip that I want to give you is that what is happening right now and the movie that you're playing in your mind about the worst case scenario of what's going to happen on Monday are different. So if your brain is occupied with the worst case scenario of the future of something that might go wrong tomorrow, that makes sense. Most of our brains have evolved to do that. Our brains have evolved to protect us from lions and bears and things that might jump out at us and eat us. They've not evolved yet to deal with modern workplaces where we're generally physically safe. So our brain is using all that energy that totally works if you're living in a cave and if you might get attacked by a lion and if you need to like make sure you're aware of the lion's footprints, all that like very specific fear energy that our brains have evolved to master, we're using about sort of like Monday morning interpersonal interactions, right? And it doesn't work in the workplace. It actually just ruins your Sunday night. Like there is nothing right now, I hope, that's jumping out at you to scare you. There's no bear, I hope, again, hiding around your hallway corner that's ready to eat you. But when our brain is playing a movie that is about the worst case scenario of Monday morning, it's trying to help us. It's trying to help us avoid that worst case scenario and be aware of it so that we can run away from it like we would run away from a bear in the woods. But it's actually, it just is not useful right now. Like you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's not happening to you right now. If you are thinking about all the worst case scenarios, you're actually more likely to create that worst case scenario. And you're actually, the science shows you're actually less safe if you're constantly anxious. So you're more likely to notice and go towards things that are a threat to you if you're feeling constantly anxious, if you're feeling constant dread. Then if you are noticing that the things around you are safe right now, where you are right now is safe, and the worst case scenario is not actually happening to you right now. So it's like easier said than done to sort of calm down your brain and notice that what's happening around you right now is safe and is different than the movie that's playing of the worst case scenario in your mind. And so the way that I found to do that is really just write down the literal things that are happening around you right now, and then write down the worst case scenario dread that you're experiencing of what might happen tomorrow, and notice that they're different. Like allow yourself, don't like resist the natural fear that you might have, that people normally have. Don't resist that, but or try to shut it down or something, but just notice the difference between your external circumstances right now and what your brain is creating. So I'm giving that to you as sort of a low-level minor homework of what to do, just to notice it. And then the higher level thing to do is to write 2 stories. One is the story of yourself if things continue in your life as they're going on right now. So if you're experiencing dread about Monday morning, if you wake up every week in your life and you experience that dread on Sunday night, you wake up on Monday morning and you think about calling in sick, what's your life going to look like if things continue as they are right now? And then you write a story about the best case scenario life of your ideal life, your ideal job, where maybe you don't wake up feeling dread on Monday morning, where you don't spend Sunday evening, where you spend Sunday evening looking forward to it, and where you can't wait for your work on Monday, and what your coworkers look like, how you feel like in that life. Just really tangible ways that your life plays out if you're living that ideal dream. This is another thing that's easier said than done. This is why people work with me. You're not necessarily supposed to be able to do this right away. And a lot of times our brains are like, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. I don't know. So if you feel a lot of I don't know, if you feel a lot of like resistance to doing it, that just means you're normal. Your brain wants you to be in confusion and dread and overwhelm and all these things that seem useful but really are just stressful. But notice that, like, the possibility of an ideal life and the difference between the life you're living now and that like dream ideal life. And so really notice that the worst case scenario of what could happen in your life is that you continue with the life that you have now, which may not even be bad. It may be great. It may be like totally fine and you're not in physical danger every week, right? That is the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is things stay as they are now. The best case scenario is that you create this amazing ideal life. Put your brain on what that looks like, what that ideal life looks like, and how you can create it. And then your brain is like working for you, right? Instead of trying to avoid all the dangers, it makes your brain go towards what you want. So those are the 2 tips for Sunday evening dread. Think about the dream, think about the ideal. Deliberately put your brain on what you can create and what you want to create in life, and that redirects it from the dread, from the trying to protect you from what you don't want to create, right? I unfortunately saw a couple of comments come through and I can't see them right now. I don't know what's happened to my my comments, but I will answer them in writing. And I hope you guys have the most amazing week. I also am starting like right away power dynamics workshops for people at work. If you have an employee that you feel like is in a tough spot at work or is not navigating work well or needs some support, if you have a friend, tell them, send them my way. I would love to help people. I've seen people make amazing shifts from really being afraid every day at work to really taking power over their work situation and making improvements. And so, yeah, so send me your homework if you want to. If you have problems, tell me about it. If you want to contribute, let me know. And I hope you guys are all great and just have a lovely Monday morning tomorrow.